Well, thank you. For those of you who are wondering why it says badass, it's because I wrote a book called The Badass Guide to Superstar Selling. So that's what that's all about. Anyway, today I want to talk to you about selling and how selling has changed. Because let's face it, we're in a new world. Everything has changed. What we used to do is no longer working for us. We are in a digital world. We are in an isolated world. Everything has changed. I'm going to look at three areas today. One, how selling has changed, some of the things that are really making it more difficult for us to sell. Two, why is it a problem for you? And what do like, why is that happening? How is it disrupting what we used to do versus, what we need to do? And that's the third area, 5 specifics on what you can do to generate more leads, close more deals, and of course, be more successful in today's normal so you can create more results, you can gain more revenue, and you can make more money. Because as Lisa said, we all need that mindset. We need to make more money, right? It's not about serving. Well, it is, but it's also about making money. We need money to take care of our families, to do all the things that we want to do. So it is important that we know how to sell and sell well. How has selling changed? Well, let's face it, it's a lot harder to sell today than it ever has been before. Why? Because one, society is a lot more skeptical, right? Have you ever been to that furniture store and the person, even though you know you need to buy a couch or a chair or a dining room table, whatever it is, you know you need to buy it, but that salesman comes after you and you're like, he says, "Oh, can I help you?" And you're like, "No, I'm good, thanks." Really? You do need the help, but we're just so attuned to just closing it off. The second thing is people are working from home, right? There are a lot more distractions for them when they're working at home. As we know, many people still have their kids at home. You've got cats and dogs and, maybe partners that are at home now. I mean, it's really distracting for the client and for the potential person that might be looking to buy whatever it is that you're promoting. The other thing is there's fewer face-to-face meetings. Let's face it. People are comfortable at home, right? I get all these requests. Oh, let's do a meeting. No. And guess what? It's getting cold out. It's going to get worse, right? People just don't want to leave their homes. They're comfortable. That's their nest. That's where they want to be. Everything is based out of the home now. The third thing is everyone is working digitally. Right? Look at us. We're doing the Zoom meeting. Everyone needs to know how to do a Zoom meeting. If you don't, reach out to someone who can help you. There are still a lot of people that don't know, that haven't pivoted, that haven't moved to technology. And if you are selling, it is something that you absolutely have to do. So what's the result of that? The whole thing with COVID and all of the things that are happening these days is that people don't know what the future is going to bring. So they are a lot more resistant. They're harder to reach, slower to decide, and more risk adverse than ever before. It's easier to hold on to their money than it is to spend it. And let's face it, typically when you're selling something, people either have one or they already have the service. They don't need a new one. It's easier to stay with what they have in their comfort zone than it is to move into a risk of buying something new or, attaining a new service. It's just easier. And when we don't know what the future is bringing, and we don't know what the future is going to bring, it's easier to hold on to our cash and just maintain the status quo. What does that mean for us? It means that it's a lot harder to sell than ever before. So these are some of the things that you can do. Okay. The first thing that you want to do is to really make sure that you're prepared. Know what's your product, like know your product knowledge, know everything about it, and make sure that you are confident in delivering the information that you have. Because let's face it, that's the number one problem. People don't know what to say or do or what comes next. And there is a process to selling. If you deviate from that, what happens is you end up losing the sale. Here's the problem. There are fewer sales these days, right? Because people are less they're more risk adverse and they're more resistant to people and they don't want to spend their money. So when you do get those sales opportunities, you need to know what you're doing. And so often people don't. They fumble, they don't know what to say, where to go. You need a process. There is a process to selling. And I kind of think of it like when you're in a car and you want to go someplace and maybe you've been there once before and you're just trying to do it off your, out of recollection, and you're driving all over the place, you're taking all the wrong turns, you're going all the wrong places. That's what happens. It's the same in selling. It takes you twice as long to get there with, much harder, a lot more frustration. If you have a sales process behind you, it's so much easier, so much easier. So you want to get that. You want to know what to say, when to say it, and what to do. You want to be confident, because what happens is if you don't know what to say, what to do, and when to do it, you aren't confident. And let's face it, if you're shopping, who do you want to buy from? The person that knows everything, is confident about what they're saying and doing, or the person who's humming and hawing and kind of, not sure about what they want or what they're trying to get across? You don't want to be that person. You want to be confident. So get a sales basis behind you, the essentials, the foundation, the maps that you can move forward. So here are 5 specifics that you can do. And I think of selling kind of like a horse race. When you like the Kentucky Derby, all the horses, they train and they get ready and they're going to go, and they line up in the gates, and then the bell goes off, the gates fly open, and everybody goes running. The horse that wins is usually the horse that does that little bit more. He's the one that wins by a nose. He doesn't do a lot more. He only does a little bit more just to get that edge. And these are the things that I think as salespeople, you need to do to differentiate from your competitors. And let's face it, with the digital age, there are a lot more competitors out there, right? What used to be, 1 or 2 people down the street is now like a mega world, a global world of people trying to play in your market and in your industry. So 1, niche down. Make sure that you niche down. If you are a realtor and you work in a particular area, niche down. If you have a specific target that you can, focus on, you want to be niching down. You want to become the expert in that area. The most successful restaurant is the one with the smallest menu. Why? Because they know their process, they know what they're doing, they're an expert at it, they're confident at it, and that's what you need. I know people think that when, tough times are tough and there's not enough money, you should open your market up to more. No, it's the opposite. Go the other way, niche down, find a specialty, be that specialist, not a generalist. The second thing you want to do, learn the essentials of selling. It's really important. Again, it's driving that car without a map. You will be all over the place. When you know what you're doing, you will have more conversations, you will generate more leads, and you will close more deals. Third thing, remote selling. You need to know how to remote sell. You need to know how to sell from your office. Sure, it's going to be easier for them to say no, isn't it? Right? When they're working from home, working off a screen, and you ask them for a meeting, it's really simple to say no. Face to face, it's a lot harder. But here's the thing. You do need to reach out to these people digitally. And remote selling, it is not about selling. It's about providing what's in it for them, like Sandra said. It's about giving value. So make sure that you're reaching out to your circle of connection, that they know exactly what you do. So that's your friends, your family, your acquaintances, and ask them, hey, who do you know that might be interested in my product or service? The second thing you want to do is reach out every day, every morning, consistently to people on your database, to people on LinkedIn, to people on Facebook, any connection you have. You want to be looking for leads all the time. And I know people think selling is sleazy. It's not sleazy. It is your income. This is what we're talking about. So you need to be consistent in doing this. Be genuine, authentic, real, provide value. Give them things of value that will have meaning for them. So if you're a realtor, give them tips on buying a house, a design, or anything that you can do that provides value for them. Ask for a face-to-face meeting. That's your only goal when you're reaching out to people. It is the only goal. Is you don't want to be selling. You want to give, give, give. We call that the warm call. And then you want to ask for a face-to-face meeting. Never, ever, ever sell or try to sell online. It's not going to work for you. People are going to shut you down. They're going to block you. So don't do it. You're either providing value or you are asking for a meeting. Social selling, that's number 4. You want to make sure that you are building a brand. You want to be putting your face out there. You want to be putting your product out there. You need that combination. They need to know who you are and what you're doing. So absolutely start posting things. If you're a realtor, put pictures out there, put your listings out there, put articles out there. I mean, there are lots of things you can be doing. Put statistics, anything, helpful hints, whatever you can. Remember, if you put text, you're not going to get much engagement. If you put a photo, you're going to get 2 times the engagement. If you put a video, 5 times the engagement. Millennials like videos, so keep that in mind. When you finally do get your meeting and you reach out, you want to be, or if you're doing a campaign, you want to be creating impact and you want to be creating differentiation. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Customer. I deal with people, I deal with, home buyers like you all the time. What I do that's unique and different is I offer blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. I specialize in this, and I will provide a free blah, 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 whatever it is. You need to be differentiating. How are you unique and different? It needs to be done quickly. You've got limited time. The fifth thing, and this is really, really big, this is how the world has changed in selling. You are creating warm calls. Warm calls, that's engaging on LinkedIn or engaging on Facebook, following people, liking them, providing that value, getting known, all of that stuff. That is what we call a warm call. So that when you go to pick up that phone and actually reach out to that client and say, hey, this is what I do. I serve clients like you. This is how I'm different. They're going to know you. They're going to know you because they've seen you. They're not going to easily just say, no, not interested, click. I mean, you might get those. So what? That happens. It's part of life. But if they've seen your branding, if they've seen you reaching out, if they've seen you've provided value, you're not going to have those problems. So again, here are the 5 things. Niche down, learn how to do the selling essentials, right? How to drive to that location, go from A to B directly, not all over the place. Pivot to remote selling, learn how to sell remotely. And of course, social selling, absolutely key in today's world. And that all comes down to warm calls. That is the biggest difference in selling today, which is our number 5. Make sure you know how to warm call. If you can nail these things, you will go from stalled to unstoppable.
Thank you, Jackie.